What is going on, guys? Your boy Joey Shake 72 coming to you guys with a video right now. So I want to go over Kevon Wallace. It's something we kind of need to talk about. I haven't really talked about him whatsoever, and I think it's a good time. Now, Kevon Wallace, 4th round pick out of Clemson, was rated by PFF as one of the biggest steals, one of the biggest steals of the draft. And, you know, and look, before I even get into all this, he gets another shot this year. You know, a normal offseason. Look, this offseason was so bad last year. I don't know how anybody could have done anything. There was no rookie minicamp in July. There was none of that. Okay, Kevon Wallace didn't get the chance to do any of that. Okay, unfortunately, with COVID hitting, it wasn't great. So as of right now, Kevon Wallace, you know, Brian Dawkins mentored him. Troy Vincent mentored him. He was a roommate to Brian Dawkins' son, and, you know, he idolizes Brian Dawkins in a lot of ways because it's the truth. I mean, he had an eagle tattooed on his back before the season even started. I mean, he was so excited to be drafted by the Eagles, and trust me, I know, because, you know, he's idolized his team his whole life, okay? And to be playing for it is a dream. Now, before I go into anything, Kevon Wallace was, I must have talked on TV or to a reporter recently, talked about the team, talked about, you know, obviously he talked to, you know, some of the players and what was going on. Talked about Jalen Hurts. So this is what he said here. He said, if you know Hurts, he's a worker. He's the first one in the building and the last one to leave every day. Since he's been in Philadelphia, he's just been the type of guy. He's a worker. Rager is a worker. He battled through injuries and he played through injuries, and that goes to show you not too many people are willing to sacrifice their bodies for just 1 year to sacrifice their longevity. That goes to show you how much we are invested. I dealt with injuries as well and came back sooner to play. I love this game, and they love this game. The Eagles organization has a bunch of young guys who are hungry and ready to compete, which is really nice to hear. Now, this was him pretty much giving everyone a perspective on the Eagles locker room going into this new season with a lot of new changes, okay? And saying that pretty much all the players, especially defensively, you know, obviously he's on the defensive side of the ball, said everyone is buying into, you know, the changes and the hype and going to create a new culture for the Philadelphia Eagles. This team is changing. This team is going to be a lot younger 2021. I'll tell you that much. So to go into everything else, Kevon Wallace, you know, did he really have a chance last year? Not really. He played special teams. He had that, I think it was a muffed punt return by the Rams. I think he, you know, recovered that. Other than that, he got injured later on. Then he came back later on the season. You know, I forgot what games he was covering. He played really bad, okay? And you know what? I can't even put too much on him because this whole team was bad. No, not because our quarterback, Carson Wentz, you know, It traveled through our whole entire team. Once our quarterback played bad, our offense played bad, our defense played bad, our special teams played bad. I mean, it just took over everything. The negativity of play just took over the whole entire team. And Kevon Wallace, you know, I don't know what he's going to bring to the table. I mean, the guy could play zone. The guy could play man. You know, the guy could tackle. I mean, you know, there's not much to really say about it because he just hasn't done much. He hasn't really had that opportunity. So obviously when they bring in Anthony Harris, you know, Ronnie McLeod, you know, might not be back week 1 because of that ACL or Achilles, whatever he had last year that happened. Because obviously this team really missed a beat when Rodney McLeod wasn't playing, and Rodney McLeod actually played very well, but on a really bad Eagles team, unfortunately. You know, if Kevon Wallace was supposed to be the steal, one of the steals of the draft, you know, I want him to prove it, because I think the one thing that annoys me about Kevon Wallace, he's always on Twitter, he's always talking, he's always, even when our season was going bad, if you're not, you know, if you're not with us, then you're against us. Like, the guy acts like he's been here his whole career. You know, he says things to where I'm like, dude, you should really just stop talking, because you haven't been here that long, and obviously you're coming off of a rookie season, so it's just like, you know, you're a rookie talking about this during the season, and you're not even playing. You're starting special teams. You have Marcus Epps and Rudy Ford in front of you on the depth chart as it is, last year. So, he talks a lot, but he's got to back up his play. And I think this is going to be the year where he's going to compete, and we're going to see what Kevon Wallace is all about. I was very excited when we drafted him, and I figured that he would be a starting safety. He'd be a Pro Bowl safety one day, and I hope that's the truth. Obviously, this offseason last year was no fair to any of these players that got drafted because they couldn't go to rookie minicamp. These guys had barely any grass time with each other. Okay, they had no field time. It was literally a couple weeks, and that was pretty much it. The season started. They took away the preseason games, and the offseason didn't treat the Eagles very well. And you saw how the season went. So, and which I'm not blaming it all on that, but that's just one thing. Every team had to deal with it, but the Eagles just couldn't. They just couldn't get it done. Couldn't work around it, and just couldn't get it done. So, Kevon Wallace coming into in 2021. I'm looking, I know he's working his tail off. I've seen some videos of him working out. He's working his tail off to compete and win that starting job. I mean, obviously, he's probably not going to get it because, obviously he's going to be in the background as a backup. They might do 3 safety sets with Jonathan Gannon. Maybe. I don't know how they're going to do it because I don't know what they're doing with their linebackers to play zone or how they're going to do everything there with cover 2 or whatever they're doing. So, I haven't really gave up on any players because last year was just such a mess. Like, between every position on this team, it's not just one position, it's every position. Like, I don't think some of these guys never got the fair chance because Doug Peterson put veterans in front of his young players that were hungry and wanted to play and didn't allow it. Or he had young players in and veterans came back from injury and didn't play any better with these veterans coming back, and kind of stinting the young players that we have for development. Like, that's what I can't stand when you have veterans that pretty much you have favoritism on them. Young players are playing well, and then you pretty much just stick these veterans back in front of them. You bench your young guys, and you're just ruining what you could potentially have for the future. You know what I mean? So it's just been an absolute mess. My face is frozen again. I don't know why, but it's just a huge mess with this team. I really hope they fix whatever they need to fix for the season. And hope to God that Jonathan Gannon uses these safeties the right way. I think our safety coach is still the same as it has been. I wish Kevon Wallace the best. I know he has the hunger. I know he's hungry for this. I never doubt Kevon Wallace. I never doubt his work ethic. I don't doubt anything like that. I don't think he's lazy. I think this guy wants to be the best safety in the NFL. But it takes a lot of hard work to get there. And Kevon Wallace has been doing a little bit of this way too much as of recent. And he really needs to back up his play. Really needs to. And I really want him to work out. That's why I'm not giving up on Jalen Reagor and some of these other players because these guys never had fair shots. Did Travis Fulgham had a fair shot after week 4? Not really, because, he got benched later on. Jordan Mailata never had a fair shot, was taken away from him. Everybody's fair shot was taken away from him. But with Kevon Wallace, he had some times when he came in, and I didn't expect him to really play good. So I'm hoping he's not a bust. I'm hoping that, he's not that guy. And if I don't see anything from him this year, then I don't know. Obviously we have him for a few more years, but 3 more years, but it is what it is. We'll just see what happens. Other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. Appreciate you guys listening. I'll talk to you guys later. Shakes go up, follow slide. Peace out, guys. Peace.